Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It is now week 17 in the NFL, so we're back with my weekly NFL predictions. If you enjoy the content, make sure you do like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. With that being said, let's get to my week 17 picks, and as always, we start with the previous week recap. Chargers beat the Broncos, Chiefs beat the Texans, Ravens beat the Steelers, Falcons beat the Giants, Lions beat the Bears, Bengals beat the Browns, Colts beat the Titans, Rams beat the Jets, Commanders beat the Eagles, Panthers beat the Cardinals in overtime. Vikings beat the Seahawks. That was a sad one for me, unfortunately. The Bills beat the Patriots. Raiders beat the Jaguars. Dolphins beat the 49ers. Cowboys beat the Buccaneers. And the Packers shut out the Saints. 11-5 on the week's picks last week. And so we are 160 and 70. So not too shabby at all. And moving over to the playoff picture in the AFC as of week 16. The Kansas City Chiefs have clinched the division, and if they win this week, they can clinch the number one overall seed. The Buffalo Bills have clinched the division. They can move down to the 3 line if they lose out, but I don't see that happening for them. So right now, Buffalo Bills clinch the division at the 2 seed. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens are flip-flopping for this spot. Just whoever ends up with a better record is going to have that 3 seed. So as of right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens have both clinched playoff spots, but due to conference records, Pittsburgh is currently in the 3 seed right now, and the 4 seed is the Houston Texans. They've won the division, so I'm pretty sure they're going to stick at that 4 spot for the remainder of the season. And the 6 and 7 seeds are still the LA Chargers and the Denver Broncos, kind of just flip-flopping every single week. And the teams in the hunt are the Indianapolis Colts, the Miami Dolphins, and the Cincinnati Bengals. So things are getting real spicy in the playoff picture for the AFC. Moving over to the NFC playoff picture, the number 1 seed currently is the Detroit Lions. They can clinch if they... Actually, I don't think they can clinch the number 1 seed this week because they play Minnesota in week 18. So we'll see. We'll see about playoff clinching scenarios for the Detroit Lions. For the Philadelphia Eagles, they are stuck at the 2 spot. They can't move lower than the 2 spot. So pretty good news for them. They have clinched their division, so I forgot to alter that there. The 3 seed is the LA Rams right now. I don't expect that to change. The Seahawks, we're kind of just in free fall at the moment. We're just losing games that we should be winning, but it is what it is. The Rams have kind of just peaked at the right time, so doing super well for them. And the 4 seed has swapped back over to the Atlanta Falcons. Starting Michael Penix definitely helped them out. So Tampa Bay is in contention with them for that spot. So a lot riding on the Falcons this week. And yeah, we mentioned the 5 seed being Minnesota, the 6 seed being Green Bay Packers. They have all clinched the playoffs, so very, very interesting going down the stretch for that 3 seed and that 7 seed. I'm pretty sure Washington clinches that this week. They can somehow lose out, and the Seahawks or Tampa Bay might be able to make it in, but I just don't see that happening. So yeah, everything coming down to the wire for the NFC as well. And moving over to my top 5 power rankings, coming in at number 5, I do have the Philadelphia Eagles. They have to slide a little bit for me, but I didn't want to have them slide too much because I still think this team is very good, and I really like everything that they do, but they do need Jalen Hurts to play. So get him healthy, get him ready for the playoffs, and I think this team is going to be just fine. Coming in at number 4, we do have a tie. I still don't know who's better between Minnesota and Detroit. I like both of them a lot. They both do a lot of good things. Minnesota, my reservation is they have Sam Darnold at quarterback, and I'm still not convinced, so we'll see. And for Detroit, it's just all these injuries, so we'll see. It'll probably come down to week 18 when they play each other. Coming in at number 3, I do have the Green Bay Packers. I know a lot of you think I am overrating the Packers, and I might be, but I think the Packers are just the most well-rounded team out of all of the teams currently. I like their quarterback. I like their coach. I think they're just a really, really good team. Number 2, I do have the Buffalo Bills. I know it was kind of a stinker against the Patriots this last week, but I still think this team is phenomenal, and I think they go as far as Josh can carry them. So if he can carry them past the Chiefs this year, I think we'd all be happy campers. Number 1 is the Chiefs. All right, moving on to our Christmas Day game. So the early window Christmas Day game is the Kansas City Chiefs. So if you're watching this on a release day, this game is happening for me in about 5.5 hours. So, 5.5 hours. So you guys enjoy this game. The Kansas City Chiefs at the Pittsburgh Steelers. So for the Chiefs, you got to keep Mahomes healthy. It's definitely coming down to the wire. Playoffs are right around the corner, so you got to make sure Mahomes is healthy going into that. I think the offensive line just kind of needs to show up. You have pieces here. They're not all great pieces, but you got to figure it out, especially going into the playoffs. It's definitely the worst part about this team right now, so we'll see what they've got. I think the defense continues to peak at the right time. And when I say right time, I mean during games as well. As soon as the defense needs to show up in the second half, they do. And I really say what you will about this team, and I hate dynasties. That's why I don't like the Chiefs, but they're doing extremely well, and they know what they're doing, and they know how to win football games. So it is what it is. As for the Steelers, you got to find a run game. Only 173 total rushing yards in the last 2 weeks. Najee Harris is just not doing it. Warren is doing a little bit more, but it's not enough. This team needs the run game to be as consistent as the rest of the offense, because without it, this team is just super one-dimensional, and I don't think Russ can carry you. And if you can minimize the Russell Wilson turnovers, it'll be even better for this team. I wish I could have the Steelers winning this one, but I got the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs 20, Steelers 17. Chiefs locking up the 1 seed after this one. Our late window game on Christmas Day is the Baltimore Ravens at the Houston Texans. So for the Ravens, I think their defense has played a lot better since the bye week. They kind of seemed like they have a little bit more put togetherness, and I really like what I'm seeing from this team. So they're also peaking at the right time. As long as they can get mistake-free Lamar, I think this team is going to be extremely, extremely dangerous come the postseason. I still hope they somehow find a way to clinch their division. I think that would be really beneficial for them. So I hope that they do so. So moving over to the Texans, I just think it's too many CJ Stroud mistakes last week, and that was the kind of the catalyst for that loss. I know they had a lot going on, especially with Tank Dell going down, and sadly he's out for the year. Prayers up to him. Hopefully he can come back healthy and strong for his sake. But yeah, I think just with this O-line being bad, CJ being in a sophomore slump, and just kind of losing a lot of players to injury, I just don't see this team doing much, even in the postseason. They've already made playoffs, so it is what it is. I do have the Ravens in this one. I got the Ravens 34, Texans 23. I just don't expect this game to be very close. And moving over to our Thursday night game, we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Chicago Bears. So for my Seahawks, you kind of need a miracle at this point to make the playoffs. You need the Cardinals to beat the Rams, and the Seahawks have to win out. So not great for the Seahawks. They kind of just squandered the lead that they had, and we needed to win one of these games against Minnesota and Green Bay, and we lost them both. So our destiny is not in our own hands. So we're all rooting for the Cardinals this week. And I just think Geno has to not F it up. I think this offense is very complex from what I've been hearing, just from the coaches and everything from this team. And apparently Geno does well in this offense. So it is what it is. We got to deal with it. Geno's just got to not F it up. Don't turnovers. Stop with the turnovers. There's just so much promise to this team, and I feel like the offense is just so hit and miss every single week. I think the defense has what it takes to be good, but I think the offense holds this team back tremendously. Really sucks, but it is what it is. And as for the Bears, you got to protect Caleb Williams. He's your franchise quarterback. You got to figure something out. I do have my Seahawks winning this one. I got the Seahawks 27, Bears 24. I really hope my Seahawks win this one. Moving over to our early window games on Saturday, we have the LA Chargers at the New England Patriots. So for the Chargers, win and you're in. They win this week, they are in the playoffs. They can rest in week 18 and not have to worry about anything. And especially if they can keep Justin Herbert healthy, I think that is the number one priority for this week. I think if their defense shows up for 4 quarters, I think this team is damn near good. I still think they just don't have enough pieces on offense for Justin Herbert to be successful. And I know their run game has been injury ridden this year, so we'll see. As for the Patriots, Drake May and the defense have bright spots for the future. I just don't see anything else for this team. You need new skill players. You need a new O-line. You need a lot of work on this team. I just hope they let. I believe the head coach is Gerard Mayo. I just hope they give Mayo time to build this team up. I do have the Chargers winning this game. I got the Chargers 24, Patriots 20. Our late window game on Saturday is the Denver Broncos at the Cincinnati Bengals. So for the Broncos, you got to win one of the last two, and you're in. I think the Broncos have a good chance. I just don't know if it's this week. I think Cincinnati's doing very well, so we'll see. I just don't see what happened to the run game for this team. I know they've had a couple of injuries, but I don't think it's been significant enough for their run game to just be non-existent now. So they got to go back to the drawing board on the run game. I think their defense looked worse last week, but I think that was kind of more of an anomaly. And I think the Chargers were kind of just playing for their playoff lives, and they played like it. So as for the Bengals, do we believe? I really want to. I really hope the Cincinnati Bengals somehow sneak into the playoffs. If Miami can lose, if Indy can lose, and if the Broncos lose out, it looks really good for the Bengals. If Joe Burrow just continues to do what he does, I know he's kicking his own teeth because he's I don't know if that's the term. Anyway, I know he's bent out of shape about his own play, and he wants this team to be successful. So it's just I love to see it from Joe. I think their defense just needs to continue to not suck. So we'll see. I got the Bengals in this one. I'm rooting for the Bengals, guys. I got the Bengals 30, Broncos 27. I really hope the Bengals make the playoff. And our Saturday night game is the Arizona Cardinals at the LA Rams. So for the Cardinals, please, Arizona, can you just beat the Rams for us? We'll try to take care of Chicago, and then we will be ready for the Rams. Winner take all next week. That would be tremendous football. I would love to watch that. As for the Rams, if Kyron Williams continues to run well, I expect this team to be very, very competitive, especially come the playoffs. So this team is definitely peaking at the right time like they always do. And I mentioned it, defense is peaking at the right time. They're playing extremely well. And for the Rams, they're in a very fortunate position. They have to win one of the next two games. So if you win this one, next week doesn't matter. You can put in your subs, and it'll kind of just be a spit in the face of my team. I got the Rams in this one, guys. Unfortunately, I got the Rams 31, Cardinals 24. It's not looking good for my Seahawks. We kind of squandered it. Moving over to our early window games on Sunday, we do have the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. So for the Jets, lots of questions this offseason, and it's time to get to them. You got 2 weeks left. Figure it out. What do you want this team to be going forward? As for the Bills, if the Chiefs win on Christmas, I say keep Josh on a snap count. I just don't think it's important enough to get the reps if it means any of your players can get injured. So I say keep him on a snap count. Just do like 3 or 4 opening series and then take him right out of the game, just so everybody can stay healthy. I think his team is getting healthier, and I really like the improvements this team has made, but their defense has regressed a little bit, so they need to improve before the playoffs. I do have the Bills in this one. I got the Bills 28, Jets 20. I don't expect the Jets to be in this game for very long. Our next game is the Las Vegas Raiders at the New Orleans Saints. So for the Raiders, I tried to tell you to not win that game so you could get Shedeur Sanders. But guess what? You didn't listen to me. So now sell the franchise. Sell it, because you guys are going into mediocrity because you will not have a starting quarterback. And you're going to overstep on Cam Ward. I swear to God. I don't understand what this team is doing, and I don't think this team knows what they're doing. So for the Saints, what's even the point of playing, honestly? Like, there's just nothing left to play for either of these teams. It's just draft position, and it just sucks. I got the Saints in this one. I got the Saints 27, Raiders 24. I would not be surprised if the Raiders won this game. They're just absolutely idiots. Absolute idiots. Our next game is the Indianapolis Colts at the New York Giants. So for the Colts, a win in their next 2 games, and the Broncos lose, and they're in the playoffs. So we'll see. It's pretty cakewalky schedule for the Colts going forward, so it's possible. Am I the only one who isn't convinced that Anthony Richardson is not a starting quarterback in this league, though? He makes way too many mistakes. His just turnover numbers, his completion percentage is just awful. It is awful, and I just don't know. I just don't know what he's supposed to be going forward. If he's supposed to be the starting quarterback, if he's a gadget guy, but it's just not looking good for Anthony Richardson right now. I think Jonathan Taylor is the reason this franchise is even still competitive right now. So I think he just kind of deserves a better franchise. Kind of like the way Derrick Henry was. He left Tennessee, went to a better franchise. I hope the same for Jonathan Taylor. As for the Giants, congrats. You guys get Shedeur Sanders. So I expect him to go to the Giants now. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I have the Colts winning this game. I got the Colts 28, Giants 17. I don't expect this game to be very close. Our next game is the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. So for the Cowboys, Cancun on 3. It's over. It's over, honestly. Kind of unfortunate. They just had a lot more hype going in than what they showed. Just really unfortunate for the Cowboys. As for the Eagles, just make sure you're healthy for the playoffs. Like I said, you're locked in at the 2 seed. I'd say just get reps in this week, get reps in next week, and kind of just chill, relax, take care of your guys, make sure they're all healthy. I think their defense needs to step it back up. I'm not sure if last week was a fluke or not, but I still think this team is really good. Their defense just has to step it back up. And just don't forget to feed Saquon Barkley. He's the workhorse of your team. He is the reason you guys are successful most of the time. So don't forget about Saquon. I got the Eagles in this one. I got the Eagles 34, Cowboys 27. Our next game is the Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So for the Panthers, if you get Bryce Young in offensive line, I think this team is gonna compete. I like a lot of the pieces for this team, especially on offense. Chuba Hubbard. I think Adam Thielen does a really good job for this team. I really like what I see from the Panthers every week. They definitely try every week, and yeah, what more can you say? As for the Buccaneers, win out, and you got to pray Atlanta loses one more. They had their own fate in their hands, and they kind of squandered it, kind of like what the Seahawks did, but it is what it is. Just too many turnovers for this team when it comes to fumbles, when it comes to Baker throwing interceptions, just a little bit too much, and I need them to dial it back down. I think the defense is really good and really bad. There are certain times where they get you 3 and out, they get you stopped, and you think this team is really good. Then they kind of just let 80-yard, 76-yard drives go by just willy-nilly, and I just don't know what to make of this team. I got the Bucs in this one, though. I got the Bucs 30, Panthers 20. I expect this game to be high-scoring for sure. Our next game is the Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. So for the Titans, I do not think you have any good quarterbacks on your roster. And I'm not sure if overreaching for Cam Ward or Dylan Gabriel or somebody else in this upcoming draft is worth it, but they're probably going to end up doing it. So we'll see. As for the Jaguars, I really wish I cared. It's so apparent that this team does not care about winning. So why should I care? That's all I got to say. I got the Titans in this one. I got the Titans 28, Jaguars 24. Yeah, Jaguars, they're kind of just a dumpster fire right now. Moving over to our late window games on Sunday, we have the Miami Dolphins at the Cleveland Browns. So for the Dolphins, win out, and for the Broncos, lose one, and I think this team makes the playoffs. So we'll see. I think they need to play better in cold weather games. I saw the stats of how awful they are in cold weather games. They need to figure it out, especially going into Cleveland. I expect them to be on the chillier side, so time to get acclimated to the conditions and get your shit together, Miami. They got to stop dropping easy ass balls. They have so many opportunities because of how many good playmakers they have on offense, and they're dropping balls. I just don't understand. So get it together, Miami. As for the Browns, get Myles Garrett some damn help, or he will be leaving. And I hope he leaves, because y'all don't deserve him anymore, Cleveland. I'm not talking to the fans. I'm talking to the franchise. Y'all don't deserve him anymore. I got the Dolphins in this one. I got the Dolphins 28, Browns 17. I just don't know who the Browns are going to start at quarterback, and I don't expect them to put up a lot of points. Our next game is the Green Bay Packers at the Minnesota Vikings. So this is my game of the week. If you're a fan of football, this is the game that you should be watching on Sunday. For the Packers, I think their defense is elite. I really like everything that they're doing on defense, so I hope they just continue this play smoothly into the playoffs. I think they need to continue getting Josh Jacobs involved. He is a workhorse. He needs the ball a lot, so make sure you are getting him those carries. I think this offensive line is elite as hell, protecting Jordan Love very, very much. I just think this team is well-rounded, and I love everything I'm seeing. As for the Vikings, they're still alive for the 1 seed. They do have to win out. If they win out, they are the 1 seed, so kind of surprising considering everybody thought the Minnesota Vikings were kind of going to be bottom feeders this year, so in me included. So very happy to see that for the Vikings. Keep getting Justin Jefferson the ball just any way you can. Jet sweeps, get him involved in the passing game, run game, anything you can. Justin Jefferson is the best player on this team, so keep getting him the ball. I think Aaron Jones just needs to be more productive. When he's getting those carries, he needs to be going over 100 yards pretty much every single week, especially going into the playoffs. So I hope they continue running the ball. Keep getting Justin Jefferson the ball. I got the Packers in this one, though. I got the Packers 28, Vikings 27. I expect this game to be a nail-biter going down, so leaning Packers right now. Moving over to our Sunday night football game, we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Washington Commanders. So if the Falcons win out, and you are in. It's simple as that. And I think with Michael Penix in, they look a little bit more competent than with Cousins. So it is what it is. I think they need to continue to get Bijan the ball in any way you can. Kind of like what I said about Justin Jefferson. Just get Bijan the ball. He's a tremendous playmaker. He's a big guy. Anytime he has the ball, it's like a wrecking ball. So continue doing so. As for the Commanders, you have no run game. Outside of Jane Daniels, you have no run game. Your offensive line is not great either. So I just don't see this team making a deep playoff run just because there's so many holes and they're just a really young team. So we'll see. If they can minimize the turnovers, even better. I think Jaden Daniels is probably the rookie of the year. He is just playing tremendous football, doing extremely well, and I expect the Commanders to end the Falcons season. I got the Commanders 34, Falcons 28. I expect the Falcons to lose this game and for Tampa Bay to win out. And moving over to our Monday night football game, we have the Detroit Lions at the San Francisco 49ers. So for the Lions, I think it was a fantastic Jahmyr Gibbs game. You got to replicate that every single week, especially going into the playoffs. So we'll see what you got, Detroit. I'm less worried about their offense, but their defense still worries me. So we'll see. We'll see what these teams got going forward. As for the Niners, do you pay Purdy this offseason? And if you do, how much are you paying him? Is it 50, 60 million a year? In my opinion, no. If anything, I would franchise tag him, or I think he has 1 year left. I would probably give him an incredibly good bonus. But other than that, I just don't know if you pay him. I'm not ready to pay Purdy right now. I think their running back position is cursed, 1,000%. You lose, what was it, 3 or 4 of your starting running backs, and I just don't see anything for this team. Is it the Madden curse? I have no idea. I got the Lions in this one. I got the Lions 35, 49ers 20. I expect this game to not be close. With that being said, guys, that is my Week 17 predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys for Week 18 and moving over to the playoffs going forward. So hope you guys have a great one. Have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys next week.